Hello, I'm Michael. To all the candidates, but specifically those who advocate for constitutional reform, how would you prevent the loss of knowledge and experience by the creation of a wholly elected House of Lords?
Thank you, Michael. Do you have a surname, Michael?
Olive.
Olive.
Olive, O-L-I-F-F.
Olive, thank you. Right.
Well, shall I start on that? I guess that's a danger if you have a wholly elected House of Lords, but I'm afraid my view is that my principal belief that those who make the laws should be able to be kicked out by those who have to live under the laws trumps the need or the cost of having to lose some people who do have that great experience. I'm afraid I'm a Democrat to my absolute core. As I said at the beginning, I'm even a Democrat to the point where I think that our head of state should be elected, and that it's wholly wrong that we have someone who signs off on laws. And I don't get me started on it, but I can tell you that the monarch isn't just a nice little lady who shakes hands. She and her son have real considerable power, and we have no chance at all to have any say on whether she or a future he stays there or not. So I'm afraid in my personal view, yes, we might have a lot of experience from the House of Lords, and that would be regrettable, but I hope those people would stand and maybe get elected to an elected House.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. Anyone else?
Myself?
Andrew? Sorry, Andrew.
Oh, sorry.
First.
Yes, I think that we have a right to recall, that people who represent us should, if they don't do a proper job, should be held to account, and people should be able to vote them out of power. It's wrong.
Sorry, Andrew. This is specifically on the House of Lords, wasn't it?
So that's the point I was trying to make. It's wrong to have people in hereditary positions who can't be voted out of power. So they would be subject to a right of recall the same way as MPs would if we were in charge, because we want representatives who actually represent the people who voted them in the first place.
Okay, thank you. Right, and sorry, Sandy, do you want to give an answer?
Sure, thanks. Thanks for the question, Michael. It's a really interesting question. I think I even touched on it in my opening remarks. I think it's a really interesting and important point you raise. You're right, there would be a hell of a lot of knowledge and experience lost. It's a huge chamber. There's like 900 lords now.
Too big.
It's ridiculous. It is too big. So it can't even function in its current state. And I think it still has a small number of hereditary pairs in it, which is just ridiculous. I think that's what I said earlier. I think my view is, and my party view is that it should be, we're going to move to an elected chamber, and that's something we want to see happen constitutionally. My view is it's something we ought to do, but I don't want to rush into it, because I want to try to preserve and retain as much of that knowledge and experience as possible. There are so many, now we move to the system of life peers, so there are all these really capable, intelligent, influential people who've made real contributions to our society, to our country, in medicine, in science, in business, and that's a hell of a lot of skills to just say, thanks for your time, see you later. So we do need to have some kind of progression towards a democratically elected chamber, but we need to take steps to try to retain that as best we can. That's my point. That's my response.
Am I allowed to just challenge my Labour colleague just on that very briefly?
No, you're not, Matthew. Sorry about that.
Oh, you would have loved that as well, wouldn't you?
I will do it for you. When I did my politics degree 40 years ago, we were debating House of Lords reform then, and this is one that constantly gets kicked into the law.
I was just going to say Labour could have voted for it in this Parliament. Labour could have voted for it in this Parliament. We could have it.
Okay, Nick, do you have a view on something?
I do, yes. Yeah. I think one of the things to bear in mind is the knowledge that we're referring to. I mean, if you look at people like Stephen Green who was quite happy to let bankers get away with not paying their taxes, well then, to be fair, I don't really want those sort of people in the House of Lords. And I guess we've got to look at it this way, in terms of the knowledge, the same question you could ask in terms of the House of Commons. I mean, MPs who get into that don't really necessarily have a constitutional knowledge, and that's what a lot of other members within Parliament are there for. They may not be MPs and they may not be members of the House of Lords, but they still have years and years of experience and years of constitutional information that they can always go back to and refer to, very similar to how we do magistrates who aren't qualified in law, but they can always go to qualified lawyers and ask questions. And I think we need to really sit there and say, do we want knowledge to trump the idea of freedom and democracy?
Okay, thank you, Nimit. Next question, please.